Welcome everybody, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules today to watch our UC Web or A2B tracking software release review. We're excited to have you here today. We've got some great stuff to show you. My name is Bobby Peckham. I'm a product manager and also a solutions engineer here at A2B Tracking. I play a part in designing and management all the market-leading tracking applications and solutions that A2B Tracking provides today. Today I'm going to be introducing you specifically to the latest A2B Tracking release. Really fun, cool release, and you're going to see why in a moment. So here's an overview of what you're going to see during this session. We're going to be taking a look at our all-new revolutionary smartphone asset tracking application. Really cool application and hardware, which you're going to see, coupled together to provide you with one of the best tracking solutions I've seen to date. Something real mobile. We're going to look at that. Also, we're going to look at some general improvements. We've done lots of work this release, a lot of great stuff. We're going to talk about some fixed RFID reading in A2B tracking. You can track your assets, RFID tagged assets automatically now with overhead readers or over-door readers. You can create choke points and portals as items are moving throughout your facility. You can inventory them and see where they're going as they change location to location, so you know where your property is at all time. We're going to touch upon some asset detail screen changes, and what I mean by that is we've consolidated some tabs and some data on asset records to really utilize the vertical scroll of devices today. So you're not switching between so many tabs. A lot more efficient in tracking your asset data. We're going to look at checkout and checking in of assets. We're going to look at a number of inventory-related improvements, specifically when creating inventories. You're going to see that you have the ability to auto-generate inventories by sublocation now. You don't have to create an inventory or record-to-flow inventory for every location you're going out to inventory manually anymore. We know in the real world there's hundreds of locations, so that can take a lot of time. With a few clicks of the A2B tracking application, it will do that all for you. We'll also be looking into inventory filtering. Inventories don't have to be created just by location anymore. You can do it by asset class, location. You can even do it by custom fields nowadays as well. Really cool thing, even by custodian, and you're going to see that in a little while. We're going to jump into the rugged mobile device. So the software that runs on that guy right back there, the Zebra devices or the Intermex, out there in those rugged mobile device environments that require offline mode, you're going to see a nice addition to the product. We call it the Ledger, and it basically gives you your inventory progress as you're doing your inventories. What still needs to be inventoried for in a location, the excess items you've inventoried, and even the correct stuff, so you know the progress of your overall inventories. We're going to look at expanded alert capabilities in A2B tracking. We've got calibration expiration, warranty expiration, and even on the stock tracking or the non-serially managed side of tracking, you can be alerted when your stock levels are at a certain point. Whether you're warehousing stock or you're manufacturing and warehousing stock, we're going to look at that. We're also going to touch upon custodian imports. Importing those individuals who are going to be overseeing property or assets throughout their life cycle. We're going to be looking at, again, on the stock tracking side, the non-serially managed side, some miscellaneous improvements around picking and replenishing. So using a tablet and a Bluetooth scanner, you can go out and pick inventory really quickly. You can even replenish your inventory as you're manufacturing stuff and storing it in your bins. You can put it right back real quickly as well using our solution. And then we're going to end on some PMSR or Property Management System of Record related additions as it relates really to the government compliance side of the house. We added some additional fields so that you can track additional data elements such as property types and stuff like that for filtering, so that you could generate your reports for auditing purposes. So to begin, again, we're going to start with our really cool smartphone solution that I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to share the screen with you on my mobile so I can show you the software in action. There we are. So this is our smartphone interface. As you can see, it looks like A2B tracking. However, it's stripped down. It's got the most important functions to date that we feel is necessary to to track your items, whether you're commissioning assets, inventorying them, even locating. We're going to see that really cool feature at the end of this session here, or actually really shortly. But anyway, I'm running this application. As you can see here, right on my smartphone. It's an Android phone. I've got a cool little accessory here called a quad lock. This is going to be used to mount it on this really cool piece of hardware right here. So you take your Android phone running A2B tracking, take this device here, which is an RFD 8500 Zebra device that has 1D barcoding, 2D barcoding, and RFID tracking, and you can actually couple them together. It's got the other end here, and you can go out and do all your asset tracking right here on your smartphone. Really, really cool solution. I've had a lot of fun with our team here designing, developing, and even testing this guy here. So let's jump in. So we're going to look at the first feature, and that is the Create Assets feature. So I click Create Assets, and here you're going to see a screen similar to the Create Assets screen in the main application. This feature here is used to commission new assets. Simple as that. As you're bringing in items, whether you're at the dock door and they're coming in boxes from Amazon or any other companies out there or other agencies, you can quickly create them and put them right in the system. Also, if you're doing a sweep of your environment and you find assets that aren't commissioned, you can commission them quickly using this feature. Moving on, next we're going to look at the assignment function. The assignment function is used to associate a custodian, a location, or a custodian and location to an item. You can scan multiple items in this area of the product here. As I mentioned, this device does barcode scanning and RFID. For this part of the demo, I'm in barcode mode. I can scan a barcode. I can see it finds my asset that's in the system. I can keep scanning and it will populate with even more. But now I can go and pick my location or scan my location badge and pick my custodian and assign the item. And what that does is it updates the custodian and the location for that property that you've scanned. The next feature is checkout. Checkout is used to assign property, whether it's for the long term or the short term, temporarily, to assignees or individuals. Custodians generally oversee a piece of property for its life cycle. So that piece of property back there, that RFID, Motorola device, the custodian might be Peter Collins, and he just oversees, when it gets damaged, who has it. However, the assignee can be me, so Peter can assign it to me. And that's one reason for using checkout. The other reason for using checkout might be I'm traveling, I need some property, I go to IT, IT takes this solution here, scans using barcode or RFID all the property I need, they can assign it to me and they can set a due back date. Then as an administrator of the system or a user of the system, I can run a report and then see all my property when it's due back, I can see what's checked out, really cool stuff. As I mentioned on the last, one of the last screens, you can pick locations using the pencil, and you can pick through your whole hierarchy of locations, or you can use the wand. And if you use the wand, you can actually scan a location badge, so that you're moving about your facilities. You got badges on doors or overhead doors. You can scan the location you're at, so you're not sifting through hundreds of locations to say, where am I? Again, utilizing auto ID technology, even with location badges or even custodian badges, really speeds up the process. That's what auto ID is really, really cool for. Now to continue on, I can set a due back date, and I can even put in a note. For that, I'm just going to say test. Now I can start scanning my property to check it out. Once I check it out, you'll see in a moment, you can see the property that's been checked out to an individual. Now, when I'm ready to check in an item, I came back from my travel, maybe I'm just bringing something back and someone needs to check it on in. I scan my property using 1D or 2D barcoding or RFID, and then I can reset that that checkout that was done to clear the checkout information so that I know, as a user of the system, I can run a report and see what property is available. This property that I'm checking back in will become available again, so it doesn't show that it's checked out. Now I'm going to jump down here from inventory because we're going to spend a little time within that feature in a moment. I'm going to jump into search. Now search, it's real simple. You can search through your entire database of all your property in your system, your items, your assets, so on and so forth. But for this part, I'm going to use the checked out assets feature. And if I click search on that, I can see a list of all my property that's checked out. Currently, as you can see down bottom, 20 items out of around 2,600 items are currently checked out. Now, if I look at the item, or an item, I can choose it. I get the asset detail record. Great, I can see all my pedigree information. My edit pencils are there if I want to change a piece of information on them. There's our Pro Locate button. You're going to see that in a moment. Really, really cool feature when you need to find a needle in a haystack. But to continue on here, as you can see down in the tracking field set, there's some checkout data. The custodian's Ron. I didn't send an assignee for this, but I could have. The assignee could have been Bob. So Ron's the overseer of the property, as I mentioned. Assignee is me. I could be traveling, so it could say that in the checkout notes. But here you can see that it was checked out on the 25th today, and it's not due back for a couple of days. So when you run your report or run your searches, you can see all the property that's checked out, so you know what you have available to assign to other employees for other reasons. Okay, well, we're going to see RFID, in its prime here within inventory. So we're going to do an inventory of some items I have in my area here that's tagged with RFID tags. I've got a couple of items tagged. I've got a docking station here, as you can see, with an RFID tag on it. I've got a bunch of property in my area here. Now, as I mentioned, prior to this type of solution or any RFID solution, for that matter, that we offer today, you had to go up to every single barcode. That property could be 30 feet high, could be real down low. There's some real, safety problems involved in that. And a lot of work. Well, with RFID, we're going to simply choose our inventory, and here it's telling me I have 4 missing items. And I'm going to go look for those items. And I'm actually going to switch my device from barcode mode by clicking on that button there. Now I'm ready to scan RFID tags. And I'm simply, for this demonstration, just going to pull the trigger, point it around, and stop. And as you can see, I found the 4 missing items. I actually found 8 other items as well in the process. So those are the other items for this demonstration. For the purpose of this demonstration, are excess items. It's a bunch of items that don't belong in my location, which is, for this example, DL's office. It could be down in DZ's office or PC's office, or John or Mary. But it's just telling me I picked up some excess items. Now that's powerful. I can decide to keep those items and absorb them into my location, or I can figure out why these items are moving around my facility so much. But anyway, I've got my correct items here. I've got a couple of laptops, my docking station, a firewall. So I've caught all the items that I wanted to inventory in this location with the pull of a trigger without going up, down, all around. I really utilized RFID at its prime and inventoried all those items using this solution here. Again, smartphone, A2B tracking, mobile application, and this RFD8500 RFID device. Now, for the next portion of this demonstration, I'm going to locate an item. Now, locating. This is our great Pro Locate feature that I'm going to demonstrate for you right now. This feature, our Pro Locate feature, is designed to get you within the proximity of about 10 feet from that item. So if I'm walking through my huge warehouse, my office building, you know, if I know its last known location using fixed readers, great. If not, I can just look at its last known location. If the item is not in that location, I can search my facility for that item. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to click on Locate. And once you go into Locate, again, this is an RFID feature, an RFID operation. It's telling me to hold the trigger to locate. So here's where I'm going to hold my trigger, and when my item or my asset is found that's tagged with my RFID tag, this specific Aspire router, it's going to alert me using beeps, and you're also going to see a visual. It's going to change to green, telling me that the asset has been detected. So now I'm going to pull the trigger, and now the idea is I'm walking through my facility, you know, I'm searching out my item, I'm looking, I found it. You heard the beeps, you see the asset detected, you see that it read that tag, and now I can look around within 10 feet. I know I'm within 10 feet of that needle in this giant haystack of my facility. Okay, so we're going to depart from our smartphone application. I really do love this application here. Tough to depart from it. However, we're going to move on to the other work we've done in development, and we're going to go back to the main UC Web interface, you know, for your laptop users, for the tablet users out there, so we can look at some of the general functionality we've improved. So we're back here. Now we're going to start by looking and discussing the RFID fixed reading of A2B tracking. Now this function is tied to locations. So within a location you can configure overhead readers, you know, and antennas over doors, so as your property that's tagged with RFID labels, you know, it's moving throughout your facility, you're seeing the location update automatically in A2B tracking, and also the inventory or the last seen date is updating throughout the facility as well. Again, we've got some webinars out there and some recordings out there on this feature alone. If you want to see more on this feature, please give us a call. We'll give you a private demonstration. We'll show you the walkthrough with the cameras and everything. However, what I'm going to touch upon here is, you know, you're configuring your reader here, you're associated to location, and your A2B tracking is powered for all your tracking of RFID property throughout your facility. You know, that's very short on this feature. However, it's an incredible feature. You know, really groundbreaking addition to our product to have fixed reading in this, because now we have mobile RFID and now we have fixed reading. So really great addition to A2B tracking. Next, we're going to look at, as I mentioned, we consolidated some tabs here on the asset detail or the asset records. We're looking at a Dell PowerEdge record here. Our previous release, you had a bunch of tabs spanning across here. Well, now we've consolidated some. No more custom tab or user-defined tab. For all your user-defined fields, we have them down bottom here. We've brought in some tracking information, some tag information, warranty, calibration off of service detail tabs, and really brought the records together. Now, my main point in even showing you this is we wanted to make it, you know, simpler for you to scroll up and down on your tablets or on your smartphone or even on your laptop here, so that you're not going through all these tabs. It really speeds up your tracking and your changing of data when necessary. Now also, we saw a checkout and a check-in on the smartphone application in the solution we have here. However, we also have that ability in the main interface as well for the tablet and the laptops. Here you can check out an item. This item is not checked out, so I can check it out. Here you can see there's no checkout information. So I can do a simple checkout here. I can also check out bulk from my main assets list, so I can select a number of assets and check them out. But again, for this demonstration, I'm just going to click on checkout, and here's where I can check out that piece of property. I can choose a location or scan a location badge. I can choose an assignee. I'm going to say this one's for Bobby. I could say, you know, this is going to be a temporary assignment. He's traveling. You know, I'm going to go do a show over in, you know, some nice tropical island, and I'm going to check that item out. Here you're going to see the item was checked out. What that means is now I have all my checkout information down here. So now I can run my report and I can see the items that have been checked out. I can go over to my assets screen here and I can use a similar checkbox to the smartphone app and I can see just my checked out property. Now I have 21 of around 2,600 items that are checked out. You can customize this grid here to show the assignee and the check-in and the checkout information, all that. And again, you can generate your reports as well. So the next thing I want to touch upon here, I know we're covering a lot of stuff here, a lot of great stuff, is filter-based inventory creation. Now, I'm going to jump over here, and we're going to talk from this screen. So I can create an inventory, again, a record-to-floor inventory to go and inventory a location. Before this release, I can only create an inventory based on a location. Now I can include a custodian, and I could say I want everything in warehouse B, but I only want everything under custodian Bob. I can then even slim it down and say not only do I want everything in the warehouse B that Bobby oversees or Bob oversees, but I just want IT equipment. I don't want manufacturing equipment or anything like that. I can do that using this new feature in our application. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is this little checkbox here, which is real powerful. So if I choose a parent location, say of A2B tracking, and I click this box here, I could still use my filtering, but if I click that box there, A2B tracking is going to auto-generate record-to-floor inventories to show me what's missing in every single sub-location within my A2B tracking umbrella. All my cubes, all my bins, it's going to tell me exactly the items within those areas with the click of a button. Prior to this, you had to sit there and you had to manually create these inventories one at a time. Really, really, really cool feature. Really saves me a lot of time, especially within our facility, going through each cube, every office, all of our warehousing areas. I use that feature and it automatically generates those inventories for me. Here we can see it was used back on the 22nd for a few. When you use the feature, it timestamps it for you. We used it for data center and front office, and again, it distributes all your property for you, so you're not doing it one at a time. Okay, well, also related to inventory, we're going to jump over into reporting. We've included some additional reports as it relates to missing assets. And what I mean by that is when you create your inventories to track the overall progress of all these locations and all these bins and whatnot, you can run reports. With a click of a button, you can generate a report. Here's a report I generated for show me all of my inventories that are open and all the items that still are in the missing bucket and haven't been actually moved into this correct bucket here. So that tells me here it is. I've got X amount of items. I've got 396 items I still have to account for in from my A2B tracking facility or under that A2B tracking umbrella before I can complete my inventory and call it done, whether it's for this week or for the quarter or for the year. And again, different stages of inventorying, whether you're in the reconciling phase or you're in the open phase, or do you want to run a report on all the phases of your inventory or statuses of your inventories, you can run that with the click of a button. Really, really cool, simple feature, especially for those who are being audited, whether it's by management or our government users being audited by DCMA and beyond. Really saves a lot of time and effort. Okay, well now we're going to leave the UC Web or the A2B tracking application, excuse me, and I'm going to show you an addition made to our rugged mobile software. And here I've got a device like this here running our A2B tracking mobile app used for offline inventorying or online inventorying, but in rugged environments. So as you can see here, this device is real rugged, it's rubberized, got a bunch of IP ratings for dust and liquids, but we have an application that runs on it. And you're seeing that right there on the screen. And specifically, we're going to look at what we call the ledger. And prior to this release of this mobile application for rugged, you couldn't tell the progress of your inventories. Well, now I'm looking at my inventory. I've got 22 missing items. So far, I found one excess item in this location, and I found one correct item. But this is a great feature, again, especially if I'm in offline and I'm in some remote location without Wi-Fi. I download my data to my mobile. I can then go out and track the progress of all my inventories throughout all my locations. So I know exactly what I found, what I need to find. I can see all that great pedigree information on the item to help me, determine what are my tagged assets in facilities with lots of items in them. A really cool feature. As you're scanning, that ledger is updated. As items are found, they move from the missing to the correct column. I think I have an example here somewhere. Let's see, I think 126 is an item. So let me scan that for you here. Yeah, that's a correct asset. Is that one that I scanned already? Let's see. Nope, there we go. So now we went from one correct to two correct. There's my item I just scanned. My missing count goes to 21. And again, this updates as I move throughout all my inventory. So if I'm in offline mode, I can then cradle the device or put the device on Wi-Fi once I'm back in an environment that has connectivity, and I can push all my work right to the web application so that it updates and all my inventory or all my assets and items get inventory. Really, really cool feature. So that's it for the rugged mobile. Now I'm going to touch briefly upon expanded alerting capability. As I mentioned, you can get alerts on calibration expirations on assets. I think I've got an asset record here. Let's see. Choose one to show you. You can set your calibration effective and expiration dates. You can also do it on your warranty. We're going to see the stock tracking side of the business in a moment. But as these expiration dates are coming up on these assets, you can receive email alerts. Email alerts have been something we've had in the system for quite some time. But again, we've expanded it into the stock area and beyond. Here's a few examples. This is telling me there's some stock. My on hand is less than or equal to my reorder out limit. This is a real email I got this morning at around 6 o'clock. You can configure when to get them. Also, there's an asset down here that's, the expiration is due within a day. So it's letting me know that. You can receive alerts 30 days prior, 15 days prior, 7 days prior, and the day of an expiration. Reorder asks will happen as as they drop below the reorder at quantity. Okay. So speaking of alerting of reorder at quantity of stock, we're going to jump over to the stock tracking area, or the non-serially managed stock tracking area of A2B tracking. So here we're looking at a list of stock, a list of non-serially managed items, nuts, bolts, screws, ICs or integrated circuits, whatever your manufacturer is storing that isn't serially managed. Here I can see all the quantities of all my items. I can actually hide a couple of columns and make it a little clearer to view here. Here's some SKUs. I can see the location of all this property, all my quantities. Specifically, what I want to discuss here is the addition of pick and replenish in the locking feature. Now, I'm out on my tablet, and our customers do this on a daily basis. Some customers track inventory in a logistics type logistically in facilities that they're moving property throughout real quickly. Also, it's used in manufacturing facilities as goods are being manufactured, stored on shelves, purchased by customers, and taken back off the shelf. We've incorporated the pick and replenish feature and the locking feature to lock whatever you're doing. So for this example, I'm going to do a pick lock. Now, I've got a barcode scanner here, and I'm just going to switch over to that for a moment to simulate that I'm on a tablet. Now, I'm using just a tethered scanner, but you can use a Bluetooth scanner with a tablet, like most of our customers do, and walk around to your facility to do this operation. However, for demonstration purposes, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scan a SKU. So I'm at a rack, I'm at a bin, I need to pick a couple of items. I scan the tag on that bin, I say OK, it automatically finds the item. It automatically asks me what I want to pick. I'm going to pick 3 of these items. I say OK and close. You're going to see my quantity. I think right now I have it on hand of 41. Boom, drops down to 38. I successfully picked. Now, if I wanted to do the same for replenish, I can do a replenish log. Now, if I wanted to stay in pick, once I pick that one item, I can scan the next item, and then it will find that item and enter the pick. So I can just keep picking items really quickly. The system knows as I'm scanning barcodes using Auto ID technology what item I'm at, presents me with a picking option, I pick my quantity, quickly move to the next item. Again, we know how critical it is to just keep moving in the real world. Same thing with replenish. If I want to, if I'm manufacturing these items and I'm restocking shelves, and I want to do it, I have a cart or a forklift, and I'm bringing in this property and re-racking this property in these bins and buckets. I can do that as well in a similar fashion. Really, really cool feature, proven feature. Again, really, really cool on a tablet, whether it's an Android tablet or any of those larger scale tablets like the Windows Surface, Microsoft Surface. Really cool on that as well. But coupled with a Bluetooth scanner, you're real mobile. You're out there in the field and you're going. And also SKU searching, we made it real simple to search through your giant SKU base. Tens of thousands of SKUs. Well, you start searching, whether you're using your barcode to search or you're entering like numbers on these SKUs to find them. We've made it real simple for you to do that as well. Okay, so I've got 2 areas I want to wrap up here. One is related to additional alerting in the property, and this is for, we're going to transition to the government side of property management now. Especially those customers or future customers that need to track property based off of Property Clause 52245-1. We've got a number of alerts like this here that I'm showing you. As you're generating files to send to the IUID Registry or the wide area workflow, it alerts you if you've generated the file and all your life cycle events and whatnot, embedded relationships that you haven't sent up to the registry or the WAF. Our property will alert you that you've generated a file but you haven't sent them yet. Real important, because you don't, to be fully compliant, you need to generate your data and then you need to actually send it to those systems. Also, on the admin side, if there's a function that's not configured properly as it relates to iRAPT integration, FTP, an alert will appear as well on the administration homepage. If the IUID registry statuses aren't configured to API directly with the IUID registry, to get those registered or not registered statuses on your property that's at the IUID registry in real time, because we do integrate real time with the IUID registry, it will alert you telling you, listen, that API connection is broken, fix me. If you're a customer who hasn't utilized that function yet or a feature yet to integrate with the IUID registry, it will alert you as well, so that hey, to really use this A2B tracking solution and really to be in compliance, I need to get that API to the IUID registry into the iRAPT, so that I'm getting real-time statuses of registrations, and managing my property throughout its life cycle is the way it should be. I'm not duplicating my efforts. I'm not sending duplicate life cycle events. I'm working in real time and in you're working synchronized in a synchronized fashion with the IUID registry, the government registry for all your property. And then last but not least, on an asset record, we've included some additional property management type fields. And here we are, real simple. We've got property class, property type, ownership codes, so you can differentiate between your own internal company property, government property, properties from customers, or property being managed or held for subcontractors, down to whether it's a piece of equipment, if it's special tooling, if it's material, so on and so forth. We've added these simple fields, but they're real powerful when filtering and creating your reports for DCMA or auditing purposes. To have the ability to have these additional field sets is really important. Now, there's some additions here on the asset record, and there's also some additions on the contract side as well, as you can see here. We've even incorporated a way to record or document what clauses your contract adheres to. All these property clauses, you can track that as well. But here are our contract tiers. These are all new fields as it relates to property management. Again, seems simple on the surface, but real powerful in the real world. Well, we've reviewed some really cool functionality here for this 2.5.11 or this latest release of A2B tracking. We saw some really cool software and this really cool piece of hardware. Really quick, simple, cost-effective solution. Please reach out to our sales department if you don't have this solution. I know a few of you already have it, and I hope you're really enjoying it. But really fun solution. We've also seen all these great functions we've added to the main application or the main UI. Whether you're using your laptops or your tablets, tethered, Bluetooth scanners, so on and so forth. Really cool functionality around barcode and RFID tracking. In closing, thank you again. I know you guys have some busy schedules.